Yay, we're live. And we are back. We missed a week,
Woo.
but we're back to the Stack and Shed podcast. Sorry about last week. My computer had a little uh, week, so
Yeah, it did.
we had a week. So we're back week three. Sorry about the miss. I'll take the responsibility for that. We had a good week of football, as long as you're not a Patriots fan. We had a good week of football. We'll get to the Patriots later because that's a rant in itself. But boy, so before we do any of the reviews of the week or the games or anything like that, I just want to say this has been the worst week to be a Patriots fan that will probably ever happen. I'm just gonna say that right now. The media, the fans, rightfully so, everyone is on us, dude. I'm sick of it. It has been such a long week.
Yeah.
Twitter.
I have an understanding of how you feel.
I know in terms of other fans, we're still spoiled. 100%. I agree. But I'm so ready for this week to be over. It's been tragic. I just want Sunday to get through, take our butt kicking, and move on. But this ain't just a Patriots podcast, so let's jump into the week. Um, the Thursday night game. Yeah, it kind of went as everyone expected when you're starting a third round pick on prime time versus the best
He didn't
defense.
play that bad though. Yeah,
Yeah,
against best defense though.
yeah. Carolina's defense is elite. I think they finally taken that step forward. It's kind of interesting because you think with Matt Rule, he was an offensive minded guy at Oregon,
Baylor.
Baylor, sorry,
Baylor.
Baylor. But ever since he's got to Carolina, he's been focusing almost purely on defense. His first
Their
two
two
drafts.
last first round picks have been on defense.
Yeah, I mean, in his whole first draft in 2020 was all defense.
Like all
Yeah.
defense, yeah.
So it's surprising that the defense is developed that quickly under an offensive minded guy, and now you're seeing Joe Brady just has revolutionized Sam Darnold. I was huge on Carolina's offseason, but I didn't think they would be 3-0 and looking like one of the best teams in the NFL this early. But hey, I ain't mad about it. But it was a good game. Houston just sucks, sadly.
Yeah.
Um,
Brandon Cook is like the only bright spot of that team at all.
and I think Brandon Cooks is playing himself into a possible trade. Wouldn't be surprising if they try to flip him at the deadline.
I feel so bad for Brandon Cooks.
Hasn't he been on like what 5 teams in 6 years or something like that?
Yeah, and he's never been terrible. He's never been a terrible player. He just keeps getting traded for no reason.
But he's getting traded for value at least. At least he's getting traded for like second, third round, first round picks. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's been wild. I mean, he's been great this season, and he's going to play good regardless of quarterback. He's the most consistent receiver, I think, in the league. He's not the
The
best,
most consistent receiver that you never like hear about for some reason.
no, but he's consistent and he's good. It's insane. But yeah, it was an interesting week. McCaffrey got hurt, so this is really Hubbard's chance the next few weeks to really make a mark as someone who has him in fantasy. Please do. I could use it. I'm not gonna start you, but please do. But yeah, I've been happy with
Yeah.
Carolina so far. I don't have a second favorite team. I don't believe in that. However, Carolina would be at the top of that list. I think I do like what Carolina's doing. Listen, man, they were my sleeper in the going into the season, so it's been interesting to see. Um,
All right, Tennessee and Indianapolis. I don't think this is at all how you had Indianapolis starting this season there, bud.
I liked Indy, but they've been kind of struggling. They've been losing a lot of good close games, but that's still not an excuse to be 0-3. They're way better than 0-3. They shouldn't be playing this bad. And it's not even really a Wentz injury. It's just everyone's injured, and they just haven't had any momentum through these first three
Yeah.
games. So it sucks, but Colts are really have their backs against the wall here. If they don't win this week, the season might already be over in terms of
Yeah.
just they're running out of time to get healthy. Um,
Carson Wentz is also 0-7 in his last seven starts.
that's tough.
Yeah.
But at least we know it wasn't only Philly, because Philly has looked rough. I didn't even have us on full screen. My bad.
And also, an interesting stat is the Titans are, I think it was 24-0. They're completely undefeated when Derrick Henry has over 24 touches
Mhm.
in a game.
Yeah, it's that's the thing with Henry is he's carrying the ball at a rate we've never seen before. At least
He
in the
gets
last
better
few
as the
years.
game goes on because the defense just wears out, and he's still the same player no matter what.
But what I'm worried about with Henry, and I think this is what everyone's kind of worried about, is when is his motor going to run on empty? Because everyone has a limit at the running back position. You know what I mean?
Especially at running back, yeah.
And you can only take so many hits, and it's just a thing where it's a matter of when, not if, that he's eventually going to slow down. And Tennessee needs to be prepared for that because he is, I would say, probably 40% of the offense. I know that's just a random number,
Oh yeah,
but without him,
yeah.
yeah, you're missing a
He's
lot.
significant in that offense.
Exactly.
100%.
And as good as AJ Brown and Julio are, without Henry, they are going to struggle a lot more because
I mean, AJ Brown didn't even have a catch last week.
exactly, and the team was still good, and that's how good Derrick Henry is. So we'll see. I'm not really high on either of those two teams. I'm not really high on anyone in the AFC West in total. I don't think
AFC South.
AFC South. Sorry, I don't think I don't think the Titans are even Super Bowl contenders anymore. I didn't
No,
think they ever were personally.
no, that defense or
Um,
and the offense, the passing game is being inconsistent as well.
and I don't, and Jacksonville, Houston aren't going to do anything. So it's kind of the Titans' division to lose at this point. But I don't think
It really is.
I just don't think they're that great personally.
No.
Talk about the tank wars. Atlanta and New York. I mean, this is bad. Atlanta is terrible. I have a gripe, and it's with Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith, I spent all offseason hyping you up as this offensive guy. You go out there and and you don't even give Kyle Pitts the ball, dude. You have
He gets targeted 3 times.
the
Three
most
times.
dynamic playmaker that we've seen come out of the draft in the last like 6 years, and you can't get him more than a few targets. You have nobody. You have
Pitts is
Calvin Ridley.
Pitts is one of those guys you gotta make up targets for. You have to
Yeah,
include intentionally get him targets.
that's
You
my
can't
thing.
just like throw him out there like, okay, go run your routes. If you get targets, you get targets.
And that's my thing is you have to design the plays for him. I mean, you did that for AJ Brown. You did it for great for Derrick Henry, and you did it for Jonnu Smith. You did it for all these guys, but you can't do it for someone who's arguably more impactful at their position than those guys beside Henry. I mean, come on, dude. That's sad. Um, Matt Ryan has looked decent, but it's Matt Ryan. He's kind of doing what he's always done. He just doesn't have a team around him.
Yeah.
It sucks. I don't even understand Atlanta's game plan here. Giants are just as bad. They suck. They're tanking. It's over for the Giants. It's not even a question.
Yeah.
Um,
Joe Judge is gone.
Probably.
Daniel Jones is probably gone.
But Daniel Jones has looked decent when he gets protection.
Yeah, he has, but with the lack of results, it's
Yeah.
he's not very likely to stick
I
around.
think he's going to be a Mariota type guy. He's going to go be a backup somewhere probably for a year and then get a contract. Not
Yeah.
Mariota. Winston. Sorry.
Tannehill.
Yeah, one of those guys. I believe in Daniel Jones, and I believe in Joe Judge. I don't think Joe Judge is the issue. I think it's more of a Dave Gettleman issue. But Gettleman is great at doing just enough to make it look like
Yeah.
it's someone else, and then just pushes it off, and he just does the same thing. I hate
Yeah.
it for Judge because I think Judge is a great coach. I think he's great. I think he's going to be a good coach in the NFL. I just don't think he's going to be there with the Giants. I think he's going to have to go get a defensive coordinator or special teams coordinator job for a year and then get another job.
Joe Judge, you can come to Denver, be our special teams coordinator because ours sucks.
New England always needs another special teams coach because our special teams coach, since he's left, has been kind of rough. So, yeah, but I feel bad for Judge. I feel like it's not a lot of it's not his fault, sadly. But
Yeah.
what can you do?
The only positive from that game was Aziz Ojulari got a strip sack. That's it.
And Barkley looked somewhat normal, somewhat healthy.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Against the Falcons defense, he looked somewhat normal, which is concerning.
That Falcons rebuild is going to take so long that it's almost comical how long that rebuild's really going to take them. It's going to take them at least 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. Upset of the week. I don't know. I liked it.
Yes.
It was
The
kind of nice. It was
Chargers. Yes, Chargers.
30-24. Mahomes had a rough day. but it was mostly the or the Chiefs' defense is just atrocious. I don't know.
Even more so than like we usually speak of. Like when we're speaking of the Chiefs, like their defense isn't that great, but this is on a whole nother level of bad.
The Chiefs' defense eerily reminds me of the Patriots' defense when we went up against the Eagles. Your camcorder just went out. That's not good. You good?
I'm good on my end.
Okay, sorry. It just went black. It reminds me a lot of when we lost to the Eagles in the Super Bowl, where the middle of our defense just got exposed. The Chiefs have no defense inside the sticks. Um,
Oh yeah,
Ben Nemian is playing a bunch of linebacker spot. You don't want Ben Nemian playing as a primary linebacker in your scheme. You just don't. You have
yeah,
guys that Willie Gay has been fine, but he hasn't really found the field as much as you need. And the Chiefs' offense is still good, but if you can limit Tyreek Hill even a little bit, that offense's production goes way down. So it's an issue. And if I'm the Chiefs, I'm a little worried that the AFC West is getting better. I still think the Chiefs are the best team in that division. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're not. They're not. But if I'm the Chiefs, I'm looking over my shoulder a little bit because even Denver has looked really good. The Chargers have just beat them, and even the
yep.
Raiders are 3-0. I mean, I don't know, man. It's a tough division, and it's going to be fun to see what happens with the AFC West.
Sante Samuel.
Defensive Rookie of the Month.
He's being a great one of my draft crushes, and same with Mike Williams from like that 2017 class.
He's finally coming out of his
He's
shell.
finally after for a few years, I'm like, okay, maybe I was wrong on Mike Williams, and now he's having this year. I'm like, okay, I was right on Mike Williams. I'm happy now.
And he really balances with Keenan Allen because Keenan Allen's such a great route runner, and Jalen Guyton is such a good at spreading the field that it really lets Mike Williams get a lot of good targets, and that's where he
Yeah,
succeeds is being that X receiver. I'm loving it.
but Edwards Hilaire also looking like a waste of a first round pick, especially with his recent case of fumbleitis.
I could have told you that when he was drafted, but that's just
Oh
me.
yeah, we both said that. We both said that.
I mean, I like Edwards Hilaire. I think he's a good guy, and I think he's a decent running back, but he's not first round value. You're not going to find really first round value running backs even out of those first round guys. You're just not going to find it. If he's not a Derrick Henry or a Nick Chubb, he's not a first round value.
Those guys are second round picks too.
Yeah, but I mean those are the only two running backs where if they were coming into the draft, I would without a doubt spend a first round pick on them. Not even think about it.
If you had no other issues on your team.
Yeah, but even then, I'm running backs in the first are not my cup of tea. But
No, me neither at all.
speaking of
Unless I had absolutely every other position filled out and I had good depth, I would take a. That's the only time I would take a running back in the first.
yeah, I mean a running back in the first.
Even then, it would be questionable.
A running back in the first is such a luxury pick. That, yeah, it's rough. Another
Yeah,
team that picked a running back in the first, coincidentally, Pittsburgh. They just got destroyed, and I think we can officially lay Big Ben's career to rest. There was
yeah.
some talks early this season that his arm's better than it was last season. No, he's about as mobile as a tree. Um, he's just not good anymore, and it sucks because he had a great career. He was a great quarterback, but he's just not good anymore.
Yeah, Cincinnati with this game really burrowed him a nice little grave there.
Yeah, even Burrow didn't even have a good game either, which is the most insane thing of the game. That Pittsburgh defense is great. I don't think we need to take it. We need to say that Pittsburgh's defense. I don't know how they beat the Bills, but they did. But that offense is just so bad. It's so bad.
I thought you'd get upset at my pun there.
I've learned. I'm so immune to it that they don't even bother me anymore.
Dang it. That's like one of the only joys of saying a pun against you, besides the weirdness of the pun, is just having your reaction.
I know. I'm sorry. Anyway,
You ruined it for me. My entire purpose here.
that's the goal. So another player didn't like Logan Wilson get like 2 picks. I actually picked him up
Yep.
in fantasy because he had like 20 points, and I'm like, hey, I have a free bench spot.
You had 2 picks and like 14 tackles or something like that.
Yeah, Cincy's proven to be a sneaky team. I don't think they're really at that level yet, but if they can get some consistency on both sides of the ball, Zach Taylor may buy himself another year somehow.
Yeah. And Burrow also wasn't sacked a single time against the Steelers.
He just threw 4 picks. Didn't he?
Burrow?
Yeah, he threw a lot of picks.
Against the... No, he didn't.
I thought he did. Or am I thinking of week 2? I thought he threw a lot of picks. I'm like 90% sure he threw 4 picks.
No.
Did he not?
No. Joe Burrow, 14 of 18, 172, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick.
So I was thinking the previous week. Okay. You know what? Okay. I've been busy this week. I'm allowed to goof up. Long story short.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Okay, you know. So yeah, but I think, and then they play tonight, right? I think Cincy plays Jacksonville tonight.
Since he plays Jacksonville. Yep.
Ugh,
That is correct.
that's scary. Why? This is I know I've said it so many times, but I'm gonna say it one more time. Why is Thursday night football still a thing? Who's gonna watch that? I'm not.
I mean, I will because I got nothing else to do,
I have nothing to do, and I still have something
even
better
though
to
it's
do.
terrible.
I have nothing to do, and I still have something better to do than that. I mean, I'd rather read my textbooks. I mean, dude, that's just bad. Anyway, I digress. Sorry, little rant. Yeah, nobody wants to watch
Ooh,
that.
the Cleveland Chicago game. Oof. Matt Nagy needs to go. Matt Nagy needs to go.
Matt Nagy
Poor Justin Fields.
and he needs to take the.
He got sacked.
With him.
Fields got sacked 9 times. They had 1 net passing yard the entire game. You know, you have this great athletic rookie quarterback, and your play calls, you know, like we have a pretty bad offensive line. Let's just draw up only long developing plays where we force Fields to sit inside the pocket.
Yep.
That sounds like a good game plan to use with your athletic rookie quarterback with a terrible O-line ahead of him.
Perfect. And then on top of that, you're facing
Impeccable.
You're facing the second or third best edge rusher in the league. And you have a bunch of traffic cones lined up in Bears uniforms, and you're just asking Fields to just get hit every play. It's tough, man.
Yep.
You can't expect it. I mean, it's not even a good like presentation of what Fields can do because he's playing behind a high school Division III offensive line going against a 275 Myles Garrett. I mean, that's just not fair. It's not, and it sucks for Fields because he hasn't really been able to show what he's done because he's just 1, 2, 3 hike. Damn, I'm injured. I mean, or damn, Myles Garrett's flying in front of me. Oh, look, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Dang. Oh, look at that. I mean, it's sad, dude. It's so bad. I feel bad for Fields, and honestly, the Bears are so bad. Realistically, I could see them finishing with like 4 wins. It's that bad.
Oh, I agree. I 100% agree.
I knew they were not going to be good at the start of the season. I didn't think they'd be good, but dude, I mean, they're approaching like top 5 pick bad this year.
The Bears' offensive line is so bad that Jadeveon Clowney got 2 sacks and Takaris McKinley got half a sack.
Takk McKinley? I'm surprised he's still in the league. Damn, I didn't even know he was still in the league. That's kind of bad on me. Yeah, the Browns. Also, can we just say JOK has been a monster? Just saying, he's just. I think he's like the highest graded like rookie linebacker.
Yeah. It's still so stupid how he fell.
What was it? Was like a medical? And it wasn't even a medical issue. It was just people just didn't think he was big enough, which is such a stupid argument in the NFL now because you're seeing so many ways to utilize players that their size is almost irrelevant. Unless they're an outside corner, it doesn't matter. Okay, you can be 5'10", 5'11", and still play linebacker in the NFL. It's absurd.
Unless you're like on the interior of a defensive line or a corner, size doesn't really matter that much anymore.
And even on the interior, your defensive lines, you're seeing so many more amoeba fronts that linebackers are playing up against the nose tackle. You know, I mean, it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't. It's so stupid. Anyway, scouting, it's kind of wild because scouting, even in the NFL, is still so archaic in terms of how they grade players that
Yeah.
it's behind the pace of the game, and that's something that needs to be caught up. You see it in other leagues where NBA like scouting is analytic based. Same with MLB. I mean, they make baseball picks almost purely on analytics now. They don't make it off. Well, he's 6'6", 350. Let's go see what he can do.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore. You have to at least look at the numbers, look at how they play, and scouting is so far behind other leagues, and that's one of the issues with the NFL right now.
All right. Baltimore and Detroit. The Justin Tucker game.
So a quick story about this game, and I'll let you talk about it, but I have to bring this story up because it's so funny. I was watching another game. I think it was the New England game, and this game ended a little bit before the New England game was over. And I actually checked the game, and it was Detroit was up, and Baltimore had possession, but they were way out of field goal range. So who cares? So all of a sudden, I get a notification of a 66-yard field goal, and I was like, damn, that's the most Detroit way to freaking lose a game. That is such a Detroit way to lose. That is
Honestly, Detroit hasn't even been playing that bad at all this season, even though they're 0-3. They competed with the 49ers, the Packers, and now the Ravens.
yeah, they've been great. I've been happy with how Detroit's played. I think Dan Campbell has shown that his style of football is definitely up there. Um,
Yeah.
but damn, it sucks, man. It sucks that Detroit's 0-3 because they're so much better than that. Is my internet good? It is. Okay. Your webcam on my screen is just having a day.
That's wonderful. It's perfectly fine for me.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, but so Justin Tucker, NFL record field goal. That was beautiful, man. It was a beautiful kick. Um, Tucker is really making his case for the best kicker of all time. I think.
Yeah. Justin Tucker could be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I would not complain at all.
As much as I want to say easily it's Adam Vinatieri, it's hard to disagree with people when they say Justin Tucker is the best kicker of all time. I can't really argue
Yeah.
with it. I know he even has a Super Bowl. I mean, you really can't. There's not a lot of things you can strike him on. Even though people will argue Super Bowls for kickers don't matter, people think that matters. It's stupid, but
People thinking that Super Bowls matter in general is just
dumb. It's a dumb.
all right.
All right.
Time for your rant.
Okay. I'm gonna try to keep this as PG as I can. Uh, we suck. It's that simple. I can't really. I could go really in deep in the play calling issues, the issues with the receivers, the issues with the running backs, the issues with injuries. I could go as in depth as you could imagine, but it's a surface level of New England is just not a good football team right now. We're starting a rookie quarterback. Our offensive line, we're starting Justin Herron because of an injury, and he has been just atrocious. Um, we're starting Brandon Bolden played like something like 30% of the snaps, and he's a special teamer. Because we lost James White for the season, and we have no one in pass protection anymore for running backs. It's that simple. Josh McDaniels play calling. I think we've even talked about it on the podcast before. I've had an issue with McDaniels play calling last season and Brady's final season when we lost to the Titans in the AFC wildcard game. I had an issue with it, and it's the same issues. I could harp on McDaniels, but at the end of the day, New England's just not a good football team right now. There's no excuses. You could make some, but I'm not going to because I don't think we're even good enough to make excuses. We need to play better, and we're going to get our butts beat by Tampa Bay. I'm talking 20, 30 point blowout.
Yeah.
The only thing that's going to save New England in this game that gives us at least a 2% chance of winning is that the Tampa Bay has no pass defense. Jacoby Myers is going to play well. Guys like Kendrick Bourne are going to have 60 to 70 yards, but it's not going to matter because our defense isn't much better. It sucks, but you just got to take the lumps with it. It's definitely a retooling season for Belichick, but it's just a question of how many of these mediocre seasons can he handle before either
Yeah.
he's gone or he makes a serious change. I don't know, but this week has been rough with the media. But I ain't gonna harp
Yeah.
on. I'm not gonna add any fuel to the Belichick Brady because it's stupid. It's not even worth our time. It's not really even a story because we're so bad. At the end of the day, we just have to play better, and I don't think that's gonna happen this week.
Imagine your only win being against the Jets and you let them score.
Well, and then imagine one of your losses, even if you're that bad, was because a running back fumbled late in the game. Who never fumbles, by the way. He doesn't have a fumbling issue. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, we should be 2-1 with a positive outlook on the season. We're 1-2, about to go 1-3, and it's bad. It's a very bad.
Yep. And Mac Jones has officially joined every other starting first round quarterback by having thrown more interceptions than touchdowns.
Don't even. I there was a sequence where a lot of plays happened, but I'm gonna focus on one play. Jonnu Smith was running a little dig route. He was so open that he literally could have caught it, stood for like 2 seconds, and not got hit. He was that open. He caught it, and then like it was right at his freaking numbers, and it was like right here, and it just went straight in the air. I've never seen as bad of a drop from a tight end. It was so bad.
It was a Madden level drop.
Literally like that old Madden glitch from a couple years ago, where it would hit him on the hands and it would just pop up in the air. Literally that glitch.
Yep.
It was literally that. It was.
I mean, I don't think it's from a couple years ago. It's probably still happening,
Well,
knowing Madden.
I don't have the Madden, so I don't really care.
Neither do I, but I'm just saying it's probably still happening.
A lot better. But no, I mean, at the end of the day, man. I mean, on the New England, I could rant about this for an hour. I really could. But at the end of the day, it's just every facet needs improving. Mac Jones had some issues. As much as Patriots fans want to say it's not his fault, some of it is his fault. He needs to play better. It's that simple. But he's a rookie quarterback, so he has at least somewhat of an excuse. The rest of the team doesn't.
Yeah.
The offensive line, as good as it is, should not be bottom five of the league. We're way better than that, and they're just not playing it yet. So we're gonna get clobbered this week. It's bad. Tampa Bay could put up 50. I expect 50. I really do. Anyway, yeah. Well, let's talk about real football team. Or a real football team. Arizona, Jacksonville.
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Arizona is here, and they're not going anywhere. They're good, man.
Undefeated.
But I will say that kick return for a touchdown from Jacksonville will be their season highlight. There will be no highlight from Jacksonville the rest of the season that matches that.
Yeah. The Jamal Agnew 109-yard kick return touchdown.
Dude, it was so beautiful. Honestly, it's kind of wild because at halftime, if it's not a 60-yarder, if it's anything longer than 60, I'm throwing a Hail Mary. Because the chances of a kick six are so high compared to a pick six on a Hail Mary that it's almost not even, it's not even worth it taking that risk.
Yeah, in the kick six, you have so many big, slow offensive lineman type guys on the field. It's just you have a way higher percentage of converting a kick six and a pick six on a Hail Mary.
Yeah, I mean a kick six, yeah, and there's been so many cases of it the past few years where if it's not the end of the game, if it's halftime and it's a 63-yard field goal attempt, and even if I have a kicker that I trust to have a chance at it, I'm still throwing Hail Mary. It's just not worth it.
Or Justin Tucker.
Unless you have, bronze leg Justin Tucker over here, then yeah, I could understand. But it's insane, dude. But yeah, Jacksonville sucks on the other end of the spectrum. I mean, there's so much wrong with Urban Meyer's coaching style, and I don't mean to harp on it because again, we harp on him every week, and that's
yeah, we've talked about this every week.
It's not fair to him. But I will say something about Urban Meyer. I understand he was kind of brought in more as a cultural set the culture, set that. I understand that's why he was brought in. 100% agree. But there's a point in time where you have to move your offense into the 21st century. And he hasn't even done that. He's still playing 1980 style football in 2021. You can't do that. It's just not something you can do. You can't have Trevor Lawrence sitting back there throwing it so many times a game when he's not ready for that. You need to run the ball. I know you don't have much of a running back. You have to. Anyway.
And Trevor Lawrence is best off play action, and They're not even doing that. They're just having him doing standard dropbacks. They're not doing anything that he's comfortable with.
No, and they don't.
Even Urban Meyer said it himself that he doesn't want to do stuff that Lawrence is comfortable with because he wants him to evolve as an NFL quarterback, but he doesn't realize that NFL quarterbacks are getting much more comfortable with play action and RPOs and all types of college systems.
It's the thing. It's like he's stubborn that Lawrence has to be this prototypical Peyton Manning, Brady. You know, not every quarterback can do that. Not even every good quarterback can do that. I mean, you're seeing guys, especially like Kyler Murray now. He's not a traditional, four-step drop, throw the ball. He's not like that. He's a RPO. Let's try to get some options and let's get him moving out of the pocket. And that's
Yeah,
harder for defenses to cover. And it's easy when a defense knows Trevor Lawrence is going to sit in the pocket. He's going to do a four-step drop, and he's going to look left, look right, either check it down or throw a pick. I mean, it's easy for defenses, and he's not throwing any wrinkles into it. He has Laviska Shenault, who's a great example of someone who could go here, here, up, down, RPOs,
yep.
jet touch passes. Doesn't do any of it. Come on, dude. And I hate to say that you or me could do a better job because I know Urban Meyer, as much as he's not doing good, is still 100,000 times better at doing anything in football than you and me right now. 100% agree. But there's times where I watch Jacksonville and I'm like, dude, I could call a better play than that. It's frustrating. Also, your mic just went off. You good? My internet good? Yeah, it says I'm connected. Brandon. Okay. No technical difficulties. Brennan just needed a phone call. So let's just move on to the next game while we're waiting for him. Buffalo, 43-21 over Washington. Interesting game. Buffalo finally got their offense back. Josh Allen actually got going again. Let me see.
Sorry about that.
No problem. I thought it was my connection for a minute. We were just going on to Buffalo. Yeah, Buffalo had a good game. Heineke finally put up his first real dud of his NFL career. That kind of sucks. But overall, I still think Washington's better than their record is showing.
Their defense needs to regain that 2020 form.
Yeah,
It's been struggling for some reason this season.
yeah. I think teams are starting to adjust to their stacking of the box. I think they definitely need to start branching out. How's Jamin Davis been? Because I haven't really heard his name much the last few weeks. Is he
You,
hurt?
I haven't either.
Yeah, I haven't really heard of Jamin
Let me
Davis.
look it up.
Hmm. Um, no, I definitely think that the football team still has a chance in the NFC East over there with Cowboys. Because especially since it looks like the Giants and Eagles have pretty much permanently fallen out of that race. I don't think either of those teams will be good anytime soon. So it's really a two-team race, and Washington has a defense that I think can stand up to Dallas, but I don't know how consistent they can become. That's the biggest worry for me about Washington.
Jamin Davis has only one start
Ooh,
thus far and 9 tackles total. That's it.
yikes! That's not good. That is
I think his first start was just last week against the Bills.
that's no bueno. I'll let you do your Denver rant
We're undefeated. I don't care who we played. You can only be who's in front of you, who's scheduled for you. Um, Bridgewater looks solid. Game plan was very much a run heavy one. And against the Jets, that you don't really need too much of a game plan. KJ Hamler towards ACL. He's out for the season. That's 2 of our starting wide receivers already gone. Jerry Jeudy is eligible to come back this week, but he probably won't for another probably 3 weeks.
yeah.
And Patrick, though, he continues to step up. He's doing what he did last season, so there's at least some silver lining there. We have good wide receiver depth, or at least we did. I don't know. I remember we had a really standout wide receiver in training camp, and we traded him away. I don't remember who that was or where he went. But Noah Fant needs to step up. He's been inconsistent, both pass catching and blocking. I don't know what's going on with Noah Fant. Um, Javonte Williams has been looking pretty good. He's pretty much earned the third down back role for our team, and but he fumbled on the goal line because he got a helmet right to the football where he was carrying it on the goal line. So
Oh, that's
you're pretty much always gonna fumble
yeah,
that.
that's kind of unlucky. Oh, yeah, that's unlucky.
Yeah. Justin Simmons and my rookie draft crush Kane Stearns got interceptions at least. That was someone I really liked coming out of the draft. Was Kane Stearns. AJ Johnson, arguably best game of his entire career. Justin Strnad looked very solid in his first career start. Von Miller gets Player of the Month with 4 sacks and leading the NFL in tackles for losses. Quillian Williams absolutely was bullying Dalton Reisner early on in the game, but then Reisner got hurt, and Quinn Miners actually came in at left guard and really actually shut Quinton Williams down, which was surprising.
Hmm, interesting.
So if Reisner's injury is worse than we thought, or he continues his bad play, we might be able to have some confidence in Miners to come step in there left guard. Graham Glasgow also got injured that game, so we had both Natane Muti and Quinn Miners playing.
Hmm.
Yeah, the Jets, they had another bad game. They have the worst offense in football by far. The second worst offense has twice the amount of points that they do on the season. Yeah. And Zach Wilson is the only Jets quarterback to be sacked 4+ times in each of his 3 career starts since the 1970 merger.
Dude, I feel so bad because like Jacksonville is a bad situation, right? You have New England, which is kind of a weird situation. You have Chicago, which is atrocious. But I would take all three of those situations for a rookie quarterback over what the Jets are right now.
Absolutely.
They are
Absolutely.
so bad. First of all, Denzel Mims. I don't know what's going on with Mims. I mean, he's just
They're currently he's been a healthy scratch. They're shopping to trade him right now.
that's insane to me because you mean to tell me he's not better than like a few of the other receivers in front of him? I mean, come on. Yeah, it's bad, dude. I feel bad for him because it's really not Wilson's fault, but he's going to take a lot of the blame for it.
Oh yeah, he already has a ton.
And it sucks because it's really not him. But yeah, I feel bad for. I know that's probably weird for a Patriots fan to say, but I feel so bad for the Jets, man. They're just so bad. I think if I had to put in a vote for the worst team in football, I don't think I'd even think twice. It's the Jets. As
Yeah,
bad as Jacksonville
same.
it has been, I still think the Jets are 100 times worse. It's that bad. So
Yeah.
yeah. So let's talk about a team that shouldn't be 3-0, but somehow is. Vegas. I'll be honest. When we were doing our preseason predictions, right? Um, I made a comment that I guess I have to eat now, and it was that the Vegas is always just good enough to be mediocre, but not bad enough to be really bad. I guess I have to eat that now because Vegas is freaking great. Defense has shown out, even though they kind of struggled versus Jacoby Brissett. It's kind of a worry. Um, but
Within 20 conversion.
but even without Josh Jacobs and at full strength, their offense has been insane. Henry Ruggs has looked good. Carr has looked good. They've just been decent, and it's really surprising. I didn't think they'd be 3-0. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but
Especially because 2 of those wins came in overtime, just barely.
I don't know how long it'll last. But if Vegas can keep the momentum up and keep winning the close games, they're going to make a playoff push, which is something I didn't think I'd be saying at this point of the season.
Yeah. The last time the Raiders started 3-0 was in 2002, where they lost the Super Bowl to the Buccaneers.
That's really
The
sad.
year after they traded John Gruden to the Buccaneers.
I want to see more coaching trades, man. We don't see them anymore. Come on, give us more coaching trades. Give us like Bill Belichick to the freaking I don't know, some terrible team.
Buccaneers.
Let's see it, man. As much as I don't want to see Belichick go. Oh my God, could you imagine when if Belichick leaves for another team, the media, they'll never leave us alone. Ooh. Anyway, I will tell you right now, if McDaniel's gets elevated to head coaching role, I'll be very upset.
I don't know why he ever gets considered for head coaching roles every offseason. It's like
I only
I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all.
I only like it because it means there's a chance we get a new offensive coordinator. Sorry, McDaniels. I mean, that's the thing with Patriots fans. Either there's two sects of Patriots fans. There's the ones that think McDaniels is literally like the best offensive coordinator of all time, and it's not even close. You have those guys, and then you have guys that like me that don't like him anymore. But like, he's just stuck that in the Brady thing. It's like he thinks he has Brady still. And I hate to say it, dude. As much as I like Mac, he ain't Brady. Cam Newton wasn't Brady, and he's running the same scheme. Like, dude, you have to adjust to it. He you know how many RPOs we've run for Mac Jones?
No.
3, and 2 of those,
Wow.
Jonnu Smith dropped the ball. We've ran 1 successful RPO. Yeah, and
wow.
and the guy that ran that RPO is injured for the rest of the season. James White.
Nice.
Yeah, he doesn't run RPOs.
Nice.
And it makes no sense because that was one of Cam Newton's strengths was quick decisions, getting the ball out of his hand, get some momentum. He refuses to do that. If you don't get momentum from running the ball in McDaniel's scheme this year, you're not getting momentum. He will just throw it until we lose. And it's frustrating. Anyway, we're not talking about McDaniels. Sorry. Another tangent, but it's frustrating to watch. It really is. Moving on. Sorry. Okay. Minnesota, Seattle. Who had this written down? Minnesota beating Seattle by 2 touchdowns. I didn't. I don't think.
Yeah, me neither.
There's really not much to say about the game, honestly. I didn't watch it. I don't know about you.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't have time. I was still, getting my, worries, spread around. So, yeah, I mean, the only thing I can say about Seattle is they are in a bad situation just because the NFC West is so good. Normally, it's like, oh, it's Seattle. They'll fix it, be good eventually, but they don't have that luxury.
They don't have that luxury anymore.
NFC West is tough, man. One of those teams is probably going to miss the playoffs, and right now it's looking like it's going to be Seattle, unless they can, turn it around.
Dang it! There goes my prediction.
Hey, it still happened. It's only week 4, so it could still happen. But
yeah,
a lot of things would need to happen for Seattle to really make that push. Jesus, I'll let you talk about Tampa Bay, LA.
I love Matt Stafford.
I know, what a good team, dude. It feels so good. It's a
Yeah.
really good team.
Yeah, Tampa's secondary not only is extremely young, it's also dealing with a lot of injuries. They're currently fielding the worst pass defense in the NFL. Tom Brady has 1 rushing touchdown in 13 different seasons. Only one of 7 quarterbacks to do that.
Dual threat. Dual threat quarterback, dude.
Yeah, he actually led Tampa Bay in rushing against the Rams with 14 yards.
Elite. Yeah, no, dual threat. Yeah, it was pretty rough. LA is so
Yeah.
good, man. I'm so happy I'm so happy seeing Stafford on a good team, man. It brings a smile to my face. Um, I mean, even when he gets a deep threat like 34-year-old Deshaun Jackson, he can make him good. I mean, that takes skill. It's fun to see, man. Rams are, in my opinion, the most fun team to watch in the NFL right now.
And an interesting little statistic: the Rams are 38-0 when leading at halftime since 2017.
Jesus, that's crazy. That's wild, man. That's got to be
The
almost.
only team with 0 losses in that stat.
That's insane, man. Yeah, Rams are just ridiculous. Yeah, but so Tampa Bay is gonna destroy us. Oh my god, I can't even look at the freaking letters TB, man. Moving on. Green Bay, San Francisco. This was a good game. One I actually watched the end of because it was close and like 3 minutes left, so I hopped on.
Yeah.
On a completely legal way, I would never illegally stream a football game. Don't even accuse me of that. Anyway, it was good, man. Green Bay's defense still worries me. I like Ron has shown that the week 1 was just an anomaly. However, I don't trust Green Bay's defense. I don't trust anybody on that defense. The Eric Stokes pick is really looking like a really bad pick. A few weeks into the season, he was clearly a luxury pick that they didn't have the luxury of having. They needed a lot of things at that pick, and they didn't get it. So,
Well, yeah, it's Green Bay.
and the Josh Myers pick
I
has
would
been
expect them to use their picks.
and the Josh Myers pick has been okay, but it's been not perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know. Green Bay
I haven't
is
seen much of I haven't seen much at all of Amari Rogers either.
no, they haven't been using him. I mean, I feel bad because they pretty much tell Adams to do the work of all three starting receiver spots, and he does it
Yep.
because he's good enough, but he shouldn't have to. They're running him into the ground a lot. So we'll see. San Francisco looked good, man, but I'm really wondering if I'm San Francisco. I understand Garoppolo has played well this season. He hasn't been elite, but he's been playing like Garoppolo. Will they go to Lance? My gut says yes. I think there's a real possibility Lance sees some significant playing time down the stretch. Just because you might as well do it now and not have to worry about him being a rookie next year, like a redshirt rookie. I don't know, man.
Can we also can we also mention that completely blown helmet to helmet targeting call on Devontae Adams?
Yeah, that hurt my head watching. I admit that hurt. That's not the first time he's been on the receiving end of a completely dirty hit. Remember the Danny Trevathan hit?
Yep.
That was one of the most violent hits I've ever seen. I mean, when you see someone's mouthpiece go 15 yards into the air, yeah, you don't want to see that. Yeah, Adams is a tough dude. CTE is
I'm
gonna.
surprised he was still allowed to come back after that.
Yeah, I completely thought he was concussed personally.
Same.
His toughness eerily reminds me of Edelman. It's almost like an eerie comparison to Edelman, and his toughness is absurd.
Except Devontae Adams doesn't take PEDs.
I don't know, man. Sometimes it looks like he does. I'm just saying. Sometimes he does. Um, listen, man. Pedelman doesn't deserve this. By the way, Edelman's halftime thing was cool. Sad that he's gone, though. I miss Edelman. We need an Edelman on our team right now. And
All
then
right, Dallas and Philadelphia.
the final game of the week.
I didn't watch this game at all.
No, I didn't either. I just watched Twitter call for Flacco and Minshew. Hurts didn't play very well. That's kind of tough. Yeah, Hurts just struggled. The Eagles' offense struggled. Sirianni has some serious play calling issues that I have seen. It reminds me a lot of Doug Peterson, surprisingly enough. You have one of the, in my opinion, a great breakout candidate in Quez Watkins, and you're just not giving him the ball. It's frustrating because every time they target him, it's a big catch, but they only target him 2 times a game. I understand
Yep.
there may be some Southern Miss bias. I understand, but give Quez Watkins the game ball, man. Damn. Just give it to him. Anyway, sorry. I promise it's not USM bias, but jeez, man. Stupid.
All right. I want to do a quick comparison between two rookie quarterbacks. One that has been getting a ton of undeserved hate, the other has been getting very little to no hate. That'll be Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. So you can probably tell who's been getting all the hate. Zach Wilson, obviously. So let's compare stats, shall we? Jacksonville Jaguars, 2 to 3 times the better team that the Jets are.
Yep.
Trevor Lawrence, 54% completion percentage, 669 yards, 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, sacked 5 times, and 2 fumbles lost. Zach Wilson, on a much worse team, 55% completion percentage, 628 yards, 2 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, sacked 15 times, 3 times the amount that Trevor Lawrence has, and has no fumbles lost. Why is Zach Wilson getting so much hate, but Trevor Lawrence just gets a free get out of jail free card?
It's called pre-draft bias, and pre-draft bias affects a lot of people. It affects obviously fans, but it affects the media a lot. People just don't want to be wrong, which I never understood. You'd think you'd want to be wrong because it means you get better players in the NFL, but people have this feeling like they have to be correct, especially about quarterbacks. You can't be wrong. It's why people still discredit Josh Allen, even though he's had an MVP type season. People still just think he's garbage because he had a couple bad years and he was not good in college. So it sucks, like you said. Both have been struggling, but both have still been decent enough for, in my opinion, for a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree that Lawrence is pretty much getting scot free, and it shouldn't be that way. You got to hold your guys accountable. Zach Wilson has had some throws where it's like, come on, dude, you got to tighten it up. Same thing with Lawrence.
Yeah.
He's made a couple throws that have just been atrocious. So, but yeah, you're not wrong on that. But pre-draft bias, man, I say it's the most hurtful thing in NFL for NFL fans, the media, and especially sports journalists have awful pre-draft bias. I'm not going to say him by name, but his name starts with a D, ends in a V, has a big O in it. Awful with it. I digress. Anyway.
All right, game of the week.
Okay.
I'm going to let you go first.
I know exactly what game you're picking, so I'm going to go different. I'm going to go Panthers at Cowboys. I obviously know the other game that's going to get a lot of attention, but I really do believe that this is a matchup between a defense that's on a hot streak and an offense that's on a hot streak. So it's really going to matter of which of the opposite teams are going to go. Is the Panthers offense going to be able to rise up and put up 28 points, which they haven't really done yet, or is the Cowboys defense finally going to make a stand and prove that they're at least a top 10, 15 unit?
I just want to say, I like how you use the Atlanta Falcons motto for the Panthers offense.
The Falcons don't deserve the right. Dude, the Falcons don't deserve that anymore. The only thing the Falcons do is sit down. So, it's no. Panthers.
There's.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I just think I was going to give my score. I think Panthers win this one, but it's close. I'm going to go 28-24 for the Panthers.
I think there's 3 game of the weeks this week. Obviously, you got the NFC West battle, Arizona and LA. You got the AFC West battle, Las Vegas and LA. But I'm gonna be a homer here and go with Baltimore and Denver because it's Denver's first true. It's gonna be Denver's first true opportunity to see what they can actually do against a playoff team from last year and a team that looks primed to go to the playoffs again this year. So I'm really looking forward to this Baltimore and Denver game.
I agree. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting game. But of course, the most watched game will be none of those. It's going to be the Tampa Bay New England game.
A Sunday night game. How's that Sunday night? It's Sunday night because of Brady and Belichick, but it's going to be a terrible game.
Sunday night, it's going to be a Sunday night practice, not really a game. Yeah, that game is going to be bad. I'm going to watch it because I have to, but I'm going to be in so much pain watching that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. So yeah, but go Panthers. All right, I'll let you do your college player of the week, and then I'll finish up with fantasy.
All right. College player of the week. This is someone I thought was a sophomore, but he's actually a junior. So I'm gonna do a quick rundown of him because we're running low on time. Jaden Daniels, the quarterback for Arizona State. 6'3", 185. He's a year younger than me. Says what I'm doing with my life.
You're a bit younger than me. Okay, that makes me feel just.
Yeah, December 18th of 2000.
I needed that confidence boost.
Yeah. Yeah. So his best scheme right now for Arizona State is zone read with RPO and pro concepts. He needs to add some more weight. He's only 185 at 6'3". He needs to add some more weight. But he shows good athleticism when escaping the pocket. He can be a threat to defenses as a runner, which is very valuable in today's NFL. But he prefers playing from the pocket. He prefers being a pocket passer, but he has that ability to make plays outside the pocket, which I really like, which is something I really value. Even though he's only a junior, he has shown great poise and calmness under pressure in college. And there's not a single moment that seems like too big for him, even as a freshman. Defensive pressure doesn't really get to him all that much. He pushes the ball downfield, and he knows how to check into the right play at the line of scrimmage. He can, if they call 2 plays in the huddle, he knows when to kill one play and go to the other. He's a winner. He's won at every level. But he needs to, again, build himself up. He needs to get stronger. He's only 185. Adding mass to his frame would definitely help against those NFL hits that he's going to have to take. He doesn't have pinpoint accuracy, so that's something that you probably want to see work on. Probably more of a fundamentals and mechanics sort of issue because he is accurate. He's just not pinpoint accurate. He's also had some mental errors and turnovers, but that's just more of experience because he's still very, very young.
Do you think he declares for the draft? No.
I would like him to because I think he could be a gem. He's a junior, so I think it's likely. It just depends on how the season goes.
Yeah.
Honestly, for Arizona State, they're still ranked in the top 25, I think. So if they keep remaining in the top 25, I think there's a good chance he declares.
The reason I asked that is because this quarterback class coming into the 2022 draft isn't really strong. You've seen
It's not strong, but it's deep.
it is
If that
very
makes
deep.
sense.
But if you think about it, it's definitely a class where a guy like Jaden Daniels, especially if he has a good combine and pro day, could really rise up some boards, almost kind of like what Zach Wilson did, if he has a really good end of the season. So I was just throwing that out there. Um, Fantasy player of the week. It's back. I didn't do it week 1 mainly because I went 0-2, but I'm 4-0 in the last couple weeks, so I am officially eligible to do this. I'm just going to give you 2 guys, both receivers. One, Quez Watkins. I've said it. If Sirianni can get his head out of his butt and call some deep shots for Quez Watkins, he's going to get you almost a touchdown a game. I think Quez Watkins is electric, should see more playing time. And if Rager is kind of in some issues with some Twitter beef and all like that, might see a reduce in playing time because he hasn't really been playing that good. Quez Watkins could benefit from that. And finally, the other guy, he's playing the worst pass defense in the league. So Jakobi Meyers. First of all, Jakobi Meyers set a record. He has 104 career receptions, no touchdowns, receiving anyway. That's an NFL record.
Wow.
But he does have 2 passing touchdowns, so he's a better quarterback than he is receiver. But no, I think he's going to have a good game. If there's one Patriot you start in fantasy, it has to be Jakobi Meyers. I think he has potential to put up 15, 20 points, and even more. I'm starting him in the flex over Barkley. That might be a bad move, but I'm playing it. I'll know before the game starts. So we'll see, but yeah, that's my 2 college players, or not college players, fantasy players of the week. Well, that's it for episode 40. We didn't say it earlier, but this is episode 40. Thanks again for listening. I mean, we've been enjoying the podcast. Sorry, we're being a little inconsistent with the uploads, but we'll get consistent. I promise my internet won't fail me next time. Hopefully, this even records, and we didn't just waste an hour.
Could be.
I think it is. But we will see you guys next week on the Stack and Shit podcast.
See ya.